Well, my name is Eddie Phillips. I've lived in the town for 88 years. I was 8 at the time of the war starting. So I have a few memories, only of youngsters doing things, you know. Yeah.
Leslie Tooley, I'm 84 next month. I've got a lot of small stories if you want to listen to them. I've already said to one person how strict they were during the war. Now, you couldn't go by Upham's Yard unless you had a special pass, because the Yanks didn't want you spying on what they were doing out on the breakwater. But my mother had a special pass. Well, she got it one day, and she used to do the cleaning for Mr. What's he called? Down the bottom of
Tyrone.
Oh, Mr. Tyrone.
Oh.
He had a big house overlooking the breakwater, and all the American troops there. Mum went in there, and she started dusting. And they weren't allowed to open the curtains. But she decided she couldn't see what she was doing, so she opened the curtains. Next thing, 2 soldiers come in, revolvers drawn, pointing at her, saying, "What the hell do you think you're doing?" And she said, "Dustin, you silly bugger, what do you think I'm doing?" And they said, "You know what the rules is, shut those windows up." So she shut the windows up. He said, "If you want a bit of light, light the gas lamps." And that's what she did. But she come home and she said, "I thought they were going to shoot me at first."
Frida Pierce, I was born here. I think I'm the youngest in the group, to be honest. I haven't got as many memories as they have, but we did have sailors billeted on my mother because she was a war widow to bring her income up during the war. And I remember that very, very clearly because I had to sleep in a Morrison shelter, you know, and I remember going to sleep with my fingers through the wires, and that's how I slept. But I do remember D-Day particularly because we had to keep them indoors, and they were indoors for 2 days because the sailors weren't allowed out on the street, and they used to send me up to the pub to get beer. And in those days I used to have a jug and bottle, and used to have a jug. I could only have been very small, 6, 7 maybe. But that's what happened, you know, and that's what they did, they let me have it. And cigarettes as well, I used to have to go down and get cigarettes for them. So I've got those memories, but not as much as obviously everybody else here.
I'm Ivan Parton, born in King Street, which is now the Quayside Hotel, when it was Fishermen's Cottages, all that lot. And born in 1935. I'm not telling you my age. He's silly. Give it away. And growing up through the war itself, Les and myself, we were like that in the war. I'm not there, don't know what it was. We were out with the Yanks, and like him there, we were all after cigarettes, chocolate, chewing gum, the lot. All that. But there's so many stories I've got as well on that. They'll elaborate on that, I think, in a minute. Yours.
My name is Brian Hoare. I was, let me see, 4 years old, beg your pardon, 5 years old when the war started. I lived in Overgang, and there was a little courtyard which we lived in, and it was 1 room on top of the other, like 1 room, 2 bedrooms, and we had an Anderson shelter for our table. And that's where we sat for our meals, and if it was an air raid, that's where we crawled in underneath. But the advantage point of living in Overgang was we could oversee the harbour, and you could see a lot of things going on, naval-wise. And then slowly you started to see a lot of landing craft come in already, you know. And there's various things I could bring about, but I think at the moment I'll leave it at that.
Well, I'm Fred Gardner. I lived in Brixham all my life. I'm not very good at this, but I left school when I was 14, and I was in January, and I started work at Co-op. And the September of that year, I was 39, the war broke out. Later on, I joined the ARP, and then when I was 16, when I was 17, I joined the Old Guard, and all my brothers all went to war. And when I was 18, I got my calling up papers. I was 1943, and now I finished up in Normandy on the 1944, and it's and then went on from there.
I'm Pamela Gardner. I was born in 1933. I went to Fursum School. I was born in Brixham, in Bayview Steps at King Street. And then we lived in Prospect Road years virtually. But I mean, I went to school, Fursum School, because we always was in there. I can remember when they, before they had the shelter built outside, and we'd have to sit under this table when the siren went off. They all sat under the table singing.
Yeah.
And I can remember them singing 10 green bottles hanging on the wall. Honestly. But yeah, as I say, I mean, there's lots of things really you could, you know, go by, but I can never get them right away, you know. I mean, we had some good laughs, but as I say, I was obviously went to Fursum until I was 11, and I finished up. Well, I finished there, went to Orchid, then came back to Brixham. No, I didn't go to totally late, went to school, but other than that, there's such a lot of things, but it's getting her off your head right away, isn't it?
Yeah.
So anybody else can have a go now.
Back to you, Eddie.
What I was going to say was that, of course, we were all of that age where we didn't know how serious war was.
Definitely not.
You know, it was like a game to us in many
Good
ways.
fun.
Yeah, you know, pinching live rounds down the harbour and making explosives and getting American discarded belts and things and marching around like an American, trying to get his candy and whatever we could get scrounge off of them.
Getting them fish and chips.
Well, Liz will tell you a story. But,
Yeah, we used to go at the style right there and take some money.
Yeah. Me and Ivor went out to Fishbone one day and walking up past this big tent, and this cook sergeant come out and he said, "Can you get us some fish and chips?" And I said, "No." He said, "Why not?" I said, "Well, Brixham's about a mile away." I said, "They'll be all cold by the time we get them out here." "Well, that don't matter, we can warm them up." So we went down to my house in Irish Street. My dad had a big trolley. He was nearly as wide as that table and about half the size of the table, and he had two big handles coming out here. So we pushed it down to Cox's Fish and Chip Shop, down the bottom of 4th Street, and the Yanks gave us all this money. I mean, we could have just took it home and that was the end of it. But they were going to war within a couple of days and they might get killed, so they didn't care.
No.
So I put all this money on the counter and it was cooking, and it was filling up until they come level with the top. I said, "There you are, that's all yours." So I got on one hand, I got on the other, and we pushed it all the way to the fish gum. The Yankees seen us coming and they went spare. They'll come running with their mess tins. And this cook sergeant was going, "Get away, get away, get away." So we got all these hot plates and he's put all the fish on there and all the chips and that. And then afterwards, you told me once you still got yours, he gave us loads of cigarettes for parents, loads of candy for ourselves, and a teddy bear each. But Well, I don't know what happened to mine, but
I've still got mine.
he's still good. He's still good. Yeah.
Business made.
Celluloid is made of. On that.
Yeah, it was fantastic. It
I
was.
told you they were.
Does he go to bed with you?
Probably.
You didn't.
Yeah.
I remember when there was training to go,
I remember
Obviously.
those.
and we're not where we lived in, as you know where we lived, we had that wall, didn't we, with the
Yeah.
sun, and on the end of the wall there was a light, and I remember one day we was looking out, I said, what are all they doing? They were all sat on top of my mother's wall at the top, and they said, it's all right, they said, we are all dead, because they were doing practice, like, obviously they were the enemy, but they'd already been killed, so they said, and they all just sat up there until they was going, you know. But I can remember that, sitting on there. I remember such a lot, but it's bringing up what you said, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, the stupidest thing we done, there's 4 or 5 of us, got in our backyard in Irish Street, and we used to go down the quay, wait for the motor torpedo boats to come in, the Western Lady, and take our shoes and socks off, and we'd like us in the mud, feeling for cannon shells. And we'd find one, we'd sneak it up under a jumper, like, and take it up the back of our house, up Red Cummins' house, stick it in a hole in the wall, and do this to it to break the seal out. And then if they had gunpowder in there, it was black, which is like black pepper, or they cordite, which is
Strands,
like, and that one looked good. Anyway, we took it down my backyard, and it one very big old backyard, and we used to get a cherry blossom boot polish, put a small spoonful in, and light it, and it would go about 4 feet high and down. But after 3 or 4 attempts at that, they said, let's light it all. And we had a Torbay paint gallon tin of it. I said, well, we'll get back here against the wall. So I lit this match and threw it in. I'll never forget it, and it went, ooh. No, our house is 3 stories high, and this jet of fire went past the roof, and our courtyard was shaking. We couldn't run away because we were trapped in there, and it was shaking, and all of a sudden it started coming down, down, down. As it come down, the tin was vanishing, just melting, and it burned a hole in the ground. And that's the kind of things we've done.
Yeah, that reminds me of when I used to go with my cousins up Penn Lane, up Castor and around that way, and we found this great big canister. It was a smoke canister.
Oh, yeah.
So we used to empty some out, and and the next thing, the place was billowed in white smoke, And, well, this is great, let's have some more. Next thing we see is old PC Banks coming on his bike.
What are you doing?
Yeah, we were off then. That was up by the lawn key.
The first time I saw a coloured, pitch black he was, in American uniform, and we had this terrible smell and we couldn't work out what it was. So Mum said, what's going on out there? But when we got out to our front, Brixham was covered in smoke. And he said, don't worry, man, he said we're just making sure that we can cover the whole area in smoke, And as I say, that's the first time I've ever seen a black man.
I think that was the thing, we'd never
seen.
encountered. And what got me was when they segregated them.
Oh, yeah.
I didn't like that. Even then, I didn't like that as a child. It didn't seem right.
They were at Fishcombe Camp, weren't they?
They had
Yeah,
their,
they were out on where the American road was built.
had their own regiments, didn't they?
Yeah, and some were, and the white Americans, I didn't like them very much. They weren't very nice. That's awful, isn't it?
We had
I don't like Trump either.
the Canadian troops in our Methodist schoolroom.
Yeah.
So we had to come out and we had our Sunday schools down over in the church. By the time they left at D-Day, I'm afraid the poor old Sunday school was a bit of a shambles. all sorts of cannons and everything,
French,
didn't
didn't
you,
we?
Faith?
Free French, we had Poles.
Yes,
I
yeah.
mean,
All the evacuees, didn't we?
well,
We had loads of
after
evacuees.
the sailors were moved
All
out
the
from that,
evacuees up there.
we had both.
Yeah, we had 3 in the press.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we did.
You know, next door to you,
We had a full
next door to
school,
you,
didn't we?
there is, because I used to go in there, I had the full on envelope, had it up to this weekend in Godfather. Do you remember there was a lady in there, and she was married to, she was called Louise, she was, and she had a little boy, and he was called Jansa. And then she was married to a Dutchman, and the Dutchman was in the submarines. And I remember they lived next door to your mum, because I used to go in there and look after the little boy. And at the end, when they went back in 1947. She gave my mum a photograph of herself and her husband and the boy. And I read that one, and you know, I had it up till this weekend. And I put that I found it.
No, I've got loads.
But
and
yeah,
I
I
can't
mean,
find
but
mine.
this was the actual people who lived next door to his mum. Because I mean, I used to be always down there. With
Well, we
several
all
all night.
they all went, didn't they? Oh dear.
Yes.
Right, who's next?
Whenever you visit a
Fred can't tell very much because obviously he didn't know it.
Oh,
Yeah.
Only was the Timberwolf Davis. They took over our section at the time. And we was dug in, facing these woods. And they rode up, you'd think they was on holiday. All with their uniforms, they all looked like officers. And they said, oh, and the sergeant said, well, this is where you are. And then one said, do you mean to say I'm going to go down in that train? I said, well, it's the safest place at the moment. I said, in the woods just ahead of us, there's a couple of tanks, German Tiger tanks. And they said, you're not going to leave us? I said, yeah, because we were all being relieved. And we went back through their lands, and Timberwolf Division, I don't know if they hadn't been out there very long, they all looked so clean. And I seen us like tramps. And they all had sunglasses on.
Yeah.
And they all went automatic rifles. I
Nothing's,
still went the one where you push it
Yeah.
nothing's changed, is it?
I don't know whether you two remember.
Yeah. And they were saying, when I just went by them, they were saying, go in now. I said, yeah, we're going another part. They was taking over our part. And he said, sorry, you see, you got guys, go. Can you stay a bit longer? And you know, after us left, they right that Division 1 satisfied, just holding for a while. They wanted to push through.
Yeah.
Of course, there was more than 2 tanks, Germans in that
Yeah,
group.
loads of
And they got a good
Yeah.
passion. They got a good passion.
Yeah.
That's why Americans I got to know, because I was gone before they come here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
there was a lot of them.
Yeah, we were in school. I'd only been in about 10 minutes. And
Was that
Harry
Frozen?
Fountain's looking around the class. One's missing. He turned up an hour later. So he's given in a real bollocking. And he said, well, I'm sorry, sir, he said, but they had to dig us out. He said, what do you mean they had to dig us out? He said, well, a bomb dropped on our house last night, and we were in the air raid shelter. He said, and the soldiers now had to dig us out. So we finished up apologising. And I think it was a French family.
Oh, Dennis.
Ted and
Oh, Ted Frank.
Ted
Yeah.
Frank.
They was up behind
Yeah.
you, weren't they?
What's that?
Ted Pratt's father and all them. I've been on the road.
Yeah, first house in Alma Road.
Friends in Auburn.
What was the name of that
Yeah.
one store that was down near the Rio that got bombed? 2 people
That
killed.
was the off
Was it Monsoon?
Off-load.
Yeah.
Off license on the corner,
What
wasn't
was it?
Preston.
Was
It's
it
right on that corner.
right on the corner? What?
Yeah.
What
Preston,
became Jordan?
I was going to say, we took over the
Mum
site.
used to call it Monsoon.
Eric Jordan,
It's,
it?
and
Yeah.
our trade
Fred saw them.
under him.
When Nick
And we
Boyne
had that one as a furniture
Chap
store.
Preston.
Oh
When the
yeah.
house was bombed, and they all come out.
I was like, saw the big co-op door, they're still down there. And everybody said, shouting out quiet because they thought somebody was still alive.
Yeah.
And they went in again and they come out with this, well, he was a big man. And he was all wobbly on hook up and up. He's all wobbly on the stretcher.
Are we thinking of the right one? Because 2 of them were killed in that bomb.
There's 5 of them.
Five.
Yeah,
Was
that's
there?
one.
Oh, I didn't
One
know
down
that.
there, and then soldier that was born by.
Soldier boy as well.
Really?
Well, there was the one up Mount Pleasant,
On a
That
that
was-
that was a time bomb.
Mount Rule, wasn't that?
That was a time bomb.
Time bomb, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
I think that's what it was right out of the front door.
Yeah, the town bomb
That's right, they
that
can see it right
actually
now.
lived in it, and they
Police
actually
made
went
it
and
on
collect
fire.
some of her furniture the following morning.
Oh, right, yeah.
Mrs. Elliot,
On a bomb.
Yeah, yeah.
that's what it was, and
Oh, that's my auntie.
that was the married person actually, and the husband had been home on leave and had gone back the previous night, and mother said,
Yeah, Mrs.
yeah,
Granbury.
don't bother to go up home tonight, you're all on your own, you might as well stay down here.
Yeah,
And of course, that's when the time bomb
Went
Yeah,
up.
dropped on their house,
Yeah.
and that's her the following day.
Her husband was Arthur Granbury, who was my cousin.
Yeah, the
I've
other
never
one
seen
was-
that one.
But that's collecting, like I say, some of her
Yeah.
belongings on there.
Who's that? Ivan, can I see that? Thank you.
Yeah,
There was one was married to
That's right.
Australia, the
Yeah.
other one was married to my uncle.
That's right.
Yeah.
Did their
And she-
father have a shop at the bottom of
yeah, that's
their
where
shop?
she stayed overnight in the
That's right.
bakery, where she
Near the
actually been
coffin
brought
house
up.
there.
Yeah,
Yeah, but that was my grandmother's shop.
yeah.
Because my grandmother, my own grandmother, it's my great grandmother's shop. My own grandmother was called Banbury. So that's where she was brought up in down there in the bakery.
Did she marry Elliot?
No, that was the twins.
That's the twin.
Yeah, there was one married Elliot and one married Banbury.
Bit different.
Yeah.
It's all the battery.
Never seen that.
Eh?
Never seen that.
I got something perhaps just to go on a bit. Was my father was in the Navy and started the war, he was yachting, and he'd also joined the Naval Association, so therefore he was called up immediately. Didn't see my father for a long, long time.
Yes.
However, he was on a ship called HMS Squirrel, and it was a minesweeper, and they got blown up in the Indian Ocean. And on the front page of the Daily Mail was this picture, full-blown picture of this ship being blown up. And of course, being young, you didn't understand why was mother crying, you know. And what it was, it took 3 days before they knew that he had survived. And just to add a little bit more to it, my father saw a lot of people killed there, and he was able to get into the water. And he heard someone shout out, Jan, 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 you know, which was a typical name for a West Countryman. And so he went over to this chap. He came from Plymouth in actual fact. And he had the top of his skull blown off. And he said, my father rescued him and brought him up. And he said, all I could see was this pulsating of his brain. And eventually, you know, my father wouldn't have said this ordinary, he had a few pints in him, you know. And they got picked up, and this poor chap died, obviously. But father was sent to Ceylon, or whatever you call it now, Sri Lanka, and then sent back on to Plymouth. And whilst he was there, they called him in the office and said, we're going to post you to HMS Brixham. He said, I've been on minesweepers. He said, oh no, he said, you're going to Brixham and you're going to look after the barrage balloons. So he came home and that's all he did, was look after the barrage balloons. Well, it was during the time when they were preparing to go over the other side. And I can remember distinctly my father coming home and said, well, I've said cheerio to them, because he'd been doing his job as a... And as you all know then, the landing craft were, well, they were completely covering the outer harbour.
You just walked across.
Yeah. And then all you saw then was emptiness.
Yeah.
They had all gone,
All gone,
you know, and it was so weird.
yeah.
Yeah.
I remember them coming down Station Hill where I live,
Yeah.
and they were sat with their backpacks leaning against the wall, waiting for their turn
Yeah,
to go
yeah.
on to the blinded barges. And my mother and all the rest of them were giving them cups of tea or coffee or whatever they had, just to, you know. But a lot of them, they never came back because they were at Omaha, weren't they? That's
Well, it's
where
like that tragic with the saucy, wasn't it? When the saucy
Also,
went,
yeah.
and spent
Yeah.
19 men on there.
Yeah.
Fred's brother was on there.
A lot of Brixham.
My dad's brother.
No.
Got a list of that.
Brother-in-law.
We've got a list of that.
So, several of the family on board that, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
I think my father's ship was one of the first ones to go because it was the Glorious.
Oh, yeah.
And she lost in the Norwegian fields. They were escorting the King of Norway.
Yeah.
And they didn't have a chance because they'd also got all the RAF planes on board her. They couldn't even put a spotter plane, nothing. They couldn't, it was just jam-packed planes. And of course the Shaughnessy and Eisenhower over the horizon, and they were actually
His brother told me
Yeah.
field
Yeah.
Heart disease
Yeah.
blown up with that one.
Yeah.
Fred Lamb's with
Yeah.
Robert Brixham
Yeah.
was in there.
You know, you said coming down
When the
to
RV,
your
one
road.
of the RV family,
Me and my gran was in the kitchen. We were
one of the
just-
RV families, were they blown up on that one?
That's in the saucy.
Saucy, that's
Oh,
it.
the door goes out, that's our front door, so let it down.
Oh yeah,
And
yeah,
this-
they
and
were
this-
coming down our hill.
And
You know
this
what
guy
station
said
it
to me, excuse me, said, how do
was? Stations like that.
I get to the harbour? And I said, well, go back to the pub there, turn left, go down that hill, turn left again, and you'll finish up in the harbour. He said, thank you very much.
She did finish up the harbour.
Reverse it to the gate. If he'd have went down where the Visions was, he could have turned around and went down.
He'd have to go down Timber instead.
Yeah. Yeah.
Or broad steps.
Yeah, broad steps.
Yeah.
Oh dear. I mean, we have got happy memories as well as miserable ones.
Well, I can honestly say I've been nearer to a German than anybody on this table.
Come on.
Let's have a look.
Let's have the story.
On the 5th hole at Cherson, my mother and John Ross getting mushrooms. And we're picking the mushrooms, and I said, look at that plane coming. There was a Messerschmitt, and that is the 5th fairway, and this is the 14th, and there's all big trees down the 14th. He come along, and he was 50 feet above these trees, this Spitfire, and he was that close, you could see this leather helmet he had on, round here, you know, tucked under his ear.
Yeah, they call it, was this a Spitfire or
No,
It was a
it was a
Messerschmitt.
a Spitfire?
I was going to say,
Don't pick up on
Messerschmitt, and he went up and drove these lines up Cherson Station and down Nos.
Well, Marjorie was
That's
at
Fred
first
Wilson.
in Frozen
Oh,
Small,
God.
and then Machine Gun.
Who was that?
Fred.
Green.
That's when you were
Marjorie
young.
and all the
guard,
children.
guard.
Something.
And then Machine Gun the whole of the
And
green.
that's it.
Well, it was the same one, I don't
Yeah,
know.
so long you
Because
get
I was
back,
too young then.
My dad was foreman
Where was that?
on Breakwater Beach.
That's
When they,
it.
from Uplands, they took
Because
sort of
Fred
half
shot
the
before you
workforce
say
and went out on Breakwater Beach and started building MTVs out there.
Hang on,
And he had a few,
just begging one at a time because I look.
Sorry, I'll just. Off we go.
Who's going
Who's
to
going first?
I was going to say that my dad learned his trade shipwright out at Uplands, and when the war started he was asked to go out on Breakwater Beach and start another shipbuilding yard out there, and they had no covering whatsoever there, just one Irish balloon behind them to stun, and these Messerschmitts kept on coming over and shooting, machine gunning and what have you, and I think they sunk the London City about three times, and in the end they decided not to bring her up again. But he had a few days off, and we went over to an aunt over in Torquay just for a break. On Sunday afternoon we were down on Barbican Beach, and we saw these planes, and somebody said, "Oh Lord, the Spitfire's coming, Spitfire's coming." as they got closer, we realised by the engine noise that that wasn't a Spitfire, that's Messerschmitt's coming straight over. And of course they started machine gunning, and we all ran in behind the old tea house. It was only wooden thing, you know, so it wouldn't have stopped anything anyway. But that was the afternoon that they bombed St Mary Church, church, and killed all those kiddies and Sunday school teachers as well. We didn't realise that at the time,
my
but
friend's sister was killed.
I never
they were very, very low when they came over that day.
But you know, I can't understand something, because this is hearsay from me, because I wasn't old enough then.
No.
But my mother had 3 of us in the pool at Shellstone, and the machine gun at Shellstone Pool. Now, I've never found evidence of that.
No.
And yet Mum says she got hold of us, pushed it in a hole in the ground and lay on top of us.
I don't think, I mean, I know one day we were going up Station Hill to school, Furzon. Everybody went to Furzon.
Oh, everyone went to
and
High school.
they came over again, machine gunning. You think, oh, I'll have to get any cover that I can. But I imagine now, thinking back, those machine gun bullets were probably going right over the top, but it was the sound that frightened the life out of you.
I don't know they were, because Marjorie was machine gunned on Frozen Green, my sister, and she said she can remember little spurts of grass.
Well, it could be. I mean, they'd have to be going down like
But
that.
as I say, that's hearsay, it wasn't me personally.
Yeah.
But she
Mum
said
was
she was
walking up through the, because he worked in the gas works,
Yeah.
and he was running up through because they, obviously the air raid, and as he was running, he had a cap on, and the cap peaked up, and he had a bullet right through the cap.
Yeah.
I had that for years, but I never know what they did after.
No.
Yeah, it went right through him.
Wow.
Yeah.
Lucky there.
Yeah, he had a good part in it.
One taller man.
What really amazed me was how they never found the oil fields.
No.
I mean, they weren't that hidden, were they?
Well, no, not really.
You know, not when you think about it,
I mean-
and yet they never, and not the railway.
I mean,
which you would have thought they would have gone for.
I was going to say, the multi-storey car park out at Berryhead Road there now was one big tank. You know, and then there were other tanks further out on Berryhead as well.
And there
that
was some
fed
by,
that one.
there was some by us.
Yeah.
There was one where the piggeries were.
Yeah. They didn't go for that.
No. And the railway, I would have thought they would have made a beeline for the railway.
Well, yeah.
Because that was bringing in coal and goodness knows what.
We've been up over if we whip it then.
It would. Yeah.
There's a little train.
I've got a picture there somewhere of the whippet.
Well, I remember
The whippet is the local train.
Yeah.
The Brixham whippet.
3 or 4 of us.
Only had two little carriages and a little engine.
Yeah. It was
And it
lovely.
went up to Churston and back to Brixham and up to Churston and back to
And if you
Brixham.
had to go to school in
And we had to go
you
to
got
school.
off, didn't you?
Yeah,
Or
8 o'clock.
Dartmouth.
If you weren't there for 8 o'clock,
Yeah.
you would go.
Mr. Westaway.
Mr. Westaway, yeah.
Mr.
Westaway was
Westaway.
the engine driver.
3 minutes past 8 he went every time, didn't he? As I say, all them little steps.
I was
Yeah.
lucky because I lived about 4 doors from the stations.
Even if he saw you coming up over the
Oh yeah.
hill
Yeah.
and under the arch, he'd still pull away.
He would, he would.
If the time was up, that was it.
I mean, he only lived in Prospect, which is around the corner.
Yeah, that's right. You have to
Actually,
wear-
that one part of that is a load of rubbish. My missus was coming up on the thing on it, let the train come back, they stopped the train and brought it back in. There's somebody coming up the steps, as Bill Pocock was one of them.
Did you know?
On that there. Yeah, see? When he was involved with it, the train would come back in for an individual. They said, hang on. Like I say, Bill Pocock was one of them. They're coming in, there he had a
Can't-
He was a relative.
Because they can't never remember coming back away.
No. Gosh.
we went
Never
up
came
Raymond
back.
Cummins' backyard, and we had all these 303 bullets, which we pinched all the Yanks. Lit a fire,
300.
and there's a wall right beside this table. And the 3 or 4 of us got down beyond this wall, and the fire's there, and we're counting them. Bang, bang, bang. There's 100 yards away, it's bloody gas hamburgers.
Yeah.
But lucky the buckets was all going into the wall, and into the wall. And bang, bang, it stopped. And Dave Bradford, he was the oldest, I think. If we were 9, he was about 12, 13. He was the older. And he gets up and he says, the fire's gone out. He goes in, gets on his hands and knees, he's going, bang! And he must have closed his eyes the second the bullet went off, because he never had no eyebrows, half his hair was gone, he was screaming, and he was jet black. And they got the ambulance and took him away, and he got away with it. But he showed you like a
Was I right when I said I was between two families?
Definitely.
Dear. We were well behaved as girls, weren't we?
So they say.
Right.
Coming to food and that, you know, just thinking about it. We were on rations, but we were all healthy. We, you know, we were fit and healthy. And I think we ate seasonally. Whatever was growing, we ate. And whatever you could get, we ate. You know.
Just barely lived, didn't it?
Yeah.
You know, when I got interrupted you, when I got caught in the army, I was 18. You know what? When he weighed me there, 7.5 stone.
No,
And I was 18-year-old.
Yeah.
So I went overweight.
18-inch waist.
To be honest,
And I had to carry rain guns around.
But then, I've said this before. Although the war was on, Mum didn't seem to worry. We spent most of our time, because I lived sort of 50 yards from All Saints Church. We spent a lot of time playing cowboys and Indians up Penpethy Woods, that was then, or out Northern Hills. And we could be out all day.
Oh yeah.
And then come back and Mother say, "You hungry? Do you want something?" You know. But they didn't worry about taking you to school or anything like that.
well, we were not close, weren't we?
When I joined the Sea Scouts, I was 8 years old, and I had to walk from home out past Showstone Pool, that bungalow next door
In the battery.
in the battery, that's where our headquarters were. I was only in the Sea Scouts for about a year, and all the leaders were sent away to the army. So we had to pack it up then until Mr. Tribble started us up again later on in the war.
Yeah, I think we used to go out with just a bottle of water and something.
Yes,
And be on the beach all day.
Oh yes.
Just another little memory come to me. My brother George was born during an air raid in Brixham. So they called him Montgomery because all that was going on. His middle name is George Montgomery. And I think that the way that George was reduced was the bomb went off.
But I always blame the Germans for not passing me 11 plus. Because
How do you work that out?
when all the rest of the school was taking their 11 plus, I was in having my tonsils out. So I had to have it all, do it on the table on myself. There was Miss Vincent,
Yes.
one of the London teachers that came down.
She was lovely.
Miss Cornelius
Corning
was the other one.
Yeah.
Was the other one. They were sat each side of the table so that I didn't cheat. There was nobody else there anyway. And then blown me halfway through the examination, they came over and bombed the column and sunk that one, and we all ended up under the table. So I think the 11 plus went, sure. So I had to wait until I was 13 then to go over to South Devon Tech.
Oh, did you go there?
2 years there, yeah.
How are you doing?
A couple of times out with Les there, in particular, we were out when the Americans were building the American Road
Yeah.
Yeah.
out there, and this is when the bulldozers cut through the corner of the fields, 2 fields out there, so that they didn't have to go down into the wooded area, which came out by the stile. And this was with me on that one. And the other place, same again, is when at Overgang, the airplane bend.
Yeah.
We were down there with it, watching the Yanks with their bulldozers. I mean, it used to be a tight airpin like that.
Yeah.
By the time they finished,
That's right.
so that tanks pulling guns could turn when they came down from Norfield Commons down through there, because they could never have turned otherwise.
No.
On that
It
way.
wasn't
They
totally
were
tight.
down through those areas.
On the bottom of Ranscombe,
Yeah.
the little shop there, they knocked that one down.
Yeah.
And Churchill Gardens, they knocked 2 big houses down there,
Yeah.
so they could have the turnaround for their tanks. Yeah.
Well, me and my dad had been out looking for golf balls. Come through the woods, and as we got up near the wall, to climb over the wall, we heard this ruckus going on, terrible. So climbed up and looked over, and there was all these Yankee soldiers there. There was Waterson was there, and he was Lord Cherson's overseer. He ran the golf course, old Cherson, everything. And he's having a go at the sergeant. He said, "How dare you?" he said. "What are you supposed to be doing?" He said, "We're building roads through it and get our tanks through to Brixham. This is private property." He said, "Get off." What the hell's going to happen now? Anyway, he had about 6 gamekeepers with him. So we called them over. Next thing you know, these gamekeepers saw this bloody tree down right across the road. So half was on the wall and the other half was over there, and he said, "That'll stop you." Anyway, about 5 minutes later, we heard this terrific roar. What the hell's that? Biggest bulldozer you've ever seen in your life. He come up, he picked his bloody tree up, and he threw it over the wall. And Waterson thought, "Oh, I can't do that," so we covered it over.
But he was not a nice man,
Oh,
was
it's
he?
terrible,
I mean,
terrible.
we used to go collecting chestnuts because
Yeah.
at Christmas, you know, it was
Yeah.
beautiful. And my mother, he said, "You're on private land." He said, "Put those back." She
Yeah,
said,
no,
"No, I'm
it's
not doing
terrible,
that." She
he
said,
was.
"I'm not." So he said, "What's your name?" She said, "It's for me to know and you to find out." But he wouldn't even begrudged children chestnuts.
Yeah, I know, it was
Horrible.
terrible. Terrible.
Yeah, it really wasn't nice.
Yeah, it was, you went for your chestnuts, you went for your hazelnuts,
Yeah.
you kept hazelnuts for
Well, you
Christmas.
were lucky
Yeah.
you didn't get caught.
And
That's
who
what
else?
I was
No,
saying.
we used to go up Chislane up along there.
Where?
Yeah.
Chislane, Chiseldin Hill,
Oh, right,
as the
yeah.
posh people call it.
Yeah.
Well, I'm
Yeah.
very sorry. I wasn't. I was giggling.
There was, you could get hazelnuts up there. I don't know whether it was right or wrong, but we used to say, well, get a tin and seal, put them in there and seal them and bury them till Christmas.
Yeah.
And then they come up.
Yeah.
The house was saying I thought he was a squirrel.
Well,
Yeah, what's fun
Of
too?
course, I live up there now, there's plenty of squirrels.
Well, there you go. In fact, she retracted them when you got them.
Another one that comes into my mind, goals eggs.
Oh,
Oh yeah.
Don't talk about those things.
they are vile.
It was all right to me.
Well,
Good.
you think
If you
like
didn't have
goals
anything
eggs.
else.
Leave them up like a pancake.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
We used to sell them to the North Cliff Hotel.
Yeah.
Could you eat them?
Yeah.
I could eat them. Oh.
Yeah.
But when you could see what they was eating, really think afterwards, rats and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah, but you put them in a bucket of water, and if they floated, you knew they was animals.
But they were nice deal. They were
But they-
nice deal.
Some you.
If there's something, you're okay.
I went down to 7 quarries.
Some boys.
Yeah.
Just getting them out there in my best coat. And hit one side, and the egg busted inside. And from then on, I dare tell my mother that you could put your hand in, it was as stiff as a board in that side.
Yeah, my mother used to put them in and make a cake with them because
Oh, yeah, you could do that.
eggs
Yeah.
were rationed and they
Yeah.
did it because the family was increasing then. There was 4 of us there. That's children. And so with the rations and your rations of eggs, they wouldn't go far enough. So the only way that you could share out the eggs, especially for breakfast, was what we call egg dip. And Mother would scramble the egg in the saucer, and then she would put the bread in and dip it in either side, and then put it in the pan and then fry it both sides. And that was egg dip, you see. So that egg went a long way.
Yeah.
And this is the way we sort of went on and survived. Once again, it never harmed us,
No.
you know.
And we only bathed once a week on a Friday.
Whether we want it or not.
Everybody was the same.
Yeah.
She couldn't come out to play with me. Because it's bath night and air washing night. And it wasn't just Wendy, but the old town was the same.
Yeah, 2 baths in the middle of the kitchen floor.
Yeah.
Filling up with a bit of water.
Yeah.
I was
There's
on
three of
water.
us.
I was
As a youngster,
Sorry.
As a youngster, I went in first because I was, say, the cleanest. But my brother, but my brother, who had been out to work there, and he was working at a shipwright down Gampton, he would have to go in last because he was a dirty. He couldn't go in. He was not allowed to go in first.
The same water.
Eh?
Same water.
Same water, yeah.
Just topped up occasionally.
And that great big lump of green soap, what was it called?
Fairy.
Wasn't it?
Yeah.
Right, changing the subject a little bit, we'll go back. We talked earlier on about the Yanks and the roads that they were building. Well, some of you know I do slideshows, you know, of Brixham there as such, and I've done one for the lifeboat there, and Fred Parks, he's the secretary of the Lifeboat Association, and he said, "Oh, I said, I wish you could see that, or I could see it with the wife on that, because she's crippled there at the time." So anyway, at the end of the show, I said, "I'll come up to your house and I'll do the same slides there for you and your wife again." Well, I did go up and do it for him and his wife, and she brought in a few friends because it was a tea party. But one so concerned with that was his experiences during the war on that. And he was out in 1938, I think it was, had to go out from the Air Ministry there to find somewhere suitable to build underground oil tanks. And he went into Miss Hobbs, you know, Bury Head Hotel.
Bury Head Hotel, yeah.
And he was told to go, him and the other chap in the Esso Petroleum Company there, to go out and find a thing suitable within the pumping areas of the existing pumps that were in, not freshwater quarry, breakwater quarry.
Breakwater quarry, yeah.
Goes out, starts digging. First thing, as I had said earlier, out comes Watterson, stops the whole process there because she was the land agent for the estate of Bury Head, Miss Hogg.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
And as a result on that, everything stopped, except he said the next day we were out there. Air Ministry had been on to Lord Churston there, nobody talking to Watterson, they had to go higher than him, and that there you carry on and dig anywhere where it's necessary to find another position to put the underground oil tanks. And that's why they ended up with 5 underground oil tanks out there, and then 40,000 tonnes of, I'll say, ordinary fuel to start with, which come in these small oil tankers, but then used to come in by train was, I think it's called ethanol, which was added to petrol to make it high octane. And then all that was pumped out from the underground tanks in Bury Head up to the railway station.
Right.
And then it went away to the local aerodromes all around west of England. And all that was, remember, I was told this was Fred, he was the one who involved digging on that, and he said the Air Ministry overrode Lord Churston, on that, and that's there was 40,000 tonnes of aviation spirit in those tanks.
So when were the oil things put on the breakwater?
1922,
Really?
near enough, yeah. to go to the small oil tank in.
And
Yeah.
yet they bombed
Breakwater,
they
yeah.
bombed the barge and never bombed the blooming breakwater. Doesn't make
No,
sense,
no,
does
it
it?
doesn't.
Well,
Not really.
Perhaps it was camouflage on the top, but then the other tank that they put in the breakwater there was the biggest single tank in Europe
Yeah.
on that, because all the others were, we'll just say, 40 foot high, 50 foot high on all the other things. If you can remember, the one, I don't know if I've got it on a photo in there or not, but the biggest tank was twice the height of the small one that was in there. And that's why that one was so big. And I've got a, look here, even on there, and in the war, they built a wall diagonal across there so that if they got it, all the fuel basically would stay beyond the actual reinforced wall, which was about 40 foot high.
It was like a dam. wasn't it?
Yeah, like a dam they put in. I mean, by then I was out there and I walked up to have a look. I was inquisitive to find out, and that was still there in the 50s when I was starting my
Yeah.
apprenticeship
Yeah.
on that there. And then of course they built another one inside the Barrier Hotel,
Yeah.
the entrance.
Yeah.
on
Oh,
that.
yes, yeah.
That was
It's still there,
purely
yeah.
for the Americans. We're on the same side on that, but no, they had to have their own
They had their
fuel
own
to
fuel.
feed their own stuff on that. And that fuel tank was dismantled in Rothside and brought down in pieces by railway there to Willis Churston, and then on lorries they brought it out to there and reassembled it. And of course the Americans wanted bomb blast, no, I won't say bomb proof, but the bottom is about 5 foot thick of brick all the way around the bottom on that. And of course as it went up, when you got eventually up to the top, it's only about 2 foot thick with brick. And of course then that was listed, but when I say it was a listed building in the, what, 60s, something like that? But
Probably,
the Barrier
probably.
Hotel,
Yeah.
I forget who had it then, I don't know if it was Pontons. Yeah, right, there was a shake of the head from that lady over there.
Yeah.
Pontons on that, they decided to start demolishing it. And of course they got stopped
They got
by
stopped.
English Heritage. That's why they took half of it down. But I've got some lovely slides taken from that I took from the inside before everything had started. They were quite high on that, the actual brickwork
Yeah.
on that. That was involved.
So why was the ones at the piggeries built then?
Eh?
There was some of the piggeries, wasn't there? There was oil tanks.
Yeah, further back.
Yeah.
Well, up Furzo.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
sorry, not further.
No, I've got them on another, I don't know if I've got them here, that
No,
picture.
but why were they built there?
Eh?
Why were they built there?
Every time an oil tanker came in and the petrol was pumped from there out to, that's the underground ones out there,
Yeah.
pumped out to there, and then ethanol was added on the, Rod Sanders, you can
Yeah.
probably remember him,
Yeah.
he's still around, he was the one in charge of all that lot,
Was he?
and because he wore pebble dash glasses,
He did.
he never went in the forces,
No.
so he was still attached to the railway and in charge of all the ethanol that got from the railway out to there. And they were only allowed to carry, I think it was 3 barrels on every lorry, because it was so volatile on that. Everything was strapped, and then naturally it was pumped from there, through the pumping system there, all the way, they buried the pipe
Yeah.
underground
Yeah.
on that,
Yeah.
all the way around the quay, up over, Mountain Tears, they'll know what I'm talking about. There, across Furzon Green to the underground tanks that they created at Northfield Close.
Also
now.
close, yeah.
It was just underground oil tanks up there.
I mean, frankly, we were just a bomb waiting to happen.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
it would have been
Yeah.
a series, you know. But it was.
There are, and also there, some of you know I was very involved with Brixham Battery on that there, and I went around to a lot of people there with a map of Brixham, about so big. Write everything down on the map that you can remember about the war.
Really?
Everything that was in there
Right.
on that, I mean, where they built everything. And fortunately, come back, that little bit there, that's the original one, that Charlie Friendship had drawn, he had to be drawn that because they were taking all the armour and then the equipment out to go onto the jetty.
Yeah.
And the traction unit was pulling one of the bulldozers on the top, and he ripped all the end of the maritime pub out. All the legs come out.
Could imagine
And
that.
Charlie Friendship was still on the council then,
Yeah.
and he was ordered to go out and make it safe, put it right. And like I say, this is the original thing that he drew for me about it. I'm like, yeah, man, for Charlie, just sign here, it'll be all paid for and it will all be repaired. But that's what Charlie had drawn and he was involved with.
Oh, okay.
I didn't know that.
That's the main Emperor station, that the Royal Artillery at Fishcombe, or Battery Gardens, and in the background
It was in London
there's
City
a
where they
London
kept
City
bombing.
is sunk.
Here's an amusing story. It wasn't at that time. Was in this photo they've got scaffolding coming out. It acted like a pier for the motor torpedo boats.
That's it.
And my mother had bought me a brand new pair of shoes. And of course, in those days, you always bought a brand new pair of shoes, which was a size bigger. So you go into them. Anyway, I'm getting out on this pier, arms over the top of the top rail, swinging me legs like it, you know. And one of these shoes goes merrily swinging along out into the harbour. Couldn't get at it. And I went home, God, didn't I get a larrapin? God, I couldn't sit down for a week, you know. Yeah,
That was a week's
Committee, mother or father.
Probably a week's wages, isn't it?
yeah.
Yeah.
Plus,
Couldn't really
down
afford a new
there,
pair of shoes.
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
couldn't get anything
You couldn't
with
get
that
it, no.
coupon, so you wouldn't even be able to replace it.
No, no.
Dear, you
They
were
evacuated
All
all the
unpopular,
key, didn't they,
yeah.
round? They evacuated all the people from round the quay when it was leading up to D-Day, didn't they?
Yeah.
Because Joyce Williams lives there next to
Oh, as I said, about 3 days before that happened, there was a start of it, you weren't allowed out of the house.
No,
You had
no.
to stay indoors, and you talked to some people, that were in the Greenswich Road opposite the hospital. He said they can remember all the tanks coming down there, and normally you never seen a tank in Brixham out on the
No.
common.
Remember
Every
seeing the
artillery.
cross, round the Bolton Cross there, because they had to reinforce the place, didn't they?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was talking to, who was I talking to about that yesterday?
They
Oh no, sorry,
reinforced.
down the
Cross.
ceiling station.
It's like Fred was saying, it wasn't hard enough standing for them.
Oh no, because the water used to come up to there, didn't it?
Yeah, I know.
Well, it was the trouble, when tanks went down on a right angle to turn on that, one track would still, the other would rip the
Yeah.
thing up, and they had the same there,
Yeah.
and the bottom of King Street,
That's right.
and the bottom of Ranscombe.
That's good, yeah.
Because if they came down the hill, one track would be kept still or so, but of course you'd rip the tarmac up.
Mm.
That's what you were saying, didn't you?
Yeah, that was
I've done that many times in Germany. Driving the tanks.
Ah,
Yeah.
It's all right, I was in the army for 22 years.
is that why you was missing?
They banned me from Brixham.
Yeah.
It shouldn't have been you they banned, it should have been these two.
That's all right.
That's it, yeah.
I'll tell you the story.
Come on.
Bananas was unheard of. Mother's walking through Middle Street, sees this lorry stop outside, Blackbirds I think it was. This bloke got a great big thing on his shoulder and he's carrying it in. So mother ran up home, got the ration books, went down, put them on the table and said, I want
Whatever you were allowed.
bananas on those 2 books. Bananas, Mrs. Tilley? She said, what the hell do you think I'll get bananas? She said, you either give me my bananas on those 2 books or I'm going straight down to the town hall and tell the council. So she said, okay. And I don't know whether it was just 1 each she gave us.
Probably.
And she said, don't tell nobody, will you, Mrs. Tilley? She says, no. Come up our street, she's not going to know the door.
Do you know the first time I had a banana, nobody told me that you had a peel.
I said, well, I'm coming up with that, yes.
I went,
Yeah.
oh, I don't like it.
So all the kids in our street had banana each. And I went in home about 10 minutes later, she said, did you like your banana, me handsome? I said, it was alright, man, but I didn't like the skin. She said, didn't you peel it? I said, no. I said, we just had it as it
Oh,
was.
they told you, didn't they?
No,
That
no,
was
no,
there,
no,
you
no,
just
no.
ate it.
Mr. Gibson had the first ones we knew.
Yeah.
We had harvest festival, and somebody must have brought back 2 bananas, and I knew what they were, you know, but of course Dave and Jonah, they didn't have a clue. And after the harvest festival, we always used to have a sale afterwards, and Dad bid up and bid up and bid up. I don't know how much he paid for these bananas. He gave one to me and one to Dave, and I mean I love them. And Dave said, "That's rubbish, you chucked them away." And I said, I don't know how much Dad paid for them, thinking it something that I'd never seen before, you know. He said, "Oh, I don't like that at all."
Well, I didn't.
No.
But then, as I say, I had skin and all.
You didn't feel them.
Well, I didn't.
It helps, it helps.
But if you didn't know, that's what you do.
Well, I play golf up Cherson, and everybody gets the 9th hole out with the banana. And I wish I had the camera this particular day with the squirrels.
Well, no.
My mate said, "Look at that bloody squirrel!" And he got all this zip and he's going, and he pulled the zip down, put his arm in, pulled his banana out, ran up the tree with him. I said, he deserves that one, he deserves.
He deserves all that,
Yeah,
yeah.
but he's putting the zip down with his claws, you know.
Very clever.
They are clever.